But let's quickly back up a little bit and get into this series here with the Indiana Pacers. You had Paul George coming off of a concussion, and you've got Miami at home, having success at home during these playoffs, and Indiana also having some success on the road. I'll throw this stat at you, J.A. They've won 5 consecutive road playoff games. Only 4 other NBA teams in history have won 6 consecutive road playoff games in a single postseason. All 4 of them went on to win the championship. So basically, the Pacers are playing for the championship in this game on Saturday. What do you think their chances are of taking one back in Miami and regaining that home court edge?
I think they can get a split. I don't think they'll get this one necessarily, but I could see them coming back and getting Game 4. I could see Miami then winning Game 5 and then coming home and winning the series in 6. I think the series is going to have a lot of twists and turns. You can't make any assumptions. It's really the Pacers have risen and they've been built to take on this Heat team, and we've seen slippage in this Miami squad. But if Dwayne Wade can continue to play this well, if they can give the Heat the 2 best players on the court, and if Paul George can't wedge himself in between them somehow, remember, that's always been the key to beating this Heat team as constructed, is that, their premise is that they're going to have the 2 best players on the court, maybe even the 3 best if Boston's having a good game. In order to beat them, you're going to have someone in between them. Derrick Rose surpassed them both in the one game Chicago beat them, for example. Dirk Nowitzki obviously was out playing LeBron when the Mavericks beat them in the finals. So, Paul George right now, I'm not sure he can be that guy. Lance Stevenson was for a little while, even into Game 2. So, if Paul George is still a little bit wobbly and woozy coming off that concussion, if Lance Stevenson is going to be up and down, I don't know if it can happen necessarily in Game 3. But at some point, hey, maybe Roy Hibbert, who dominates, or maybe David West can be one of the best players on the court. So there's a lot of options that the Pacers have, particularly when it comes to the Heat. They just have guys that match up well. David West pounding the ball inside, Roy Hibbert taking advantage of his size. So there's so many things that the Pacers can do to extend this series.
Well, you could argue that in that 2012 finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder had the 2nd and 3rd best players on the floor, and Miami still won that one, but that was sort of a sign of a team.
I mean, you get a podium game from a Mike Miller here or a Shane Battier there, and guess what? They were as good as Durant in some of those games.
Right. In this series, though, I feel like Miami is gaining confidence from winning Indiana's style of game on Indiana's court in that game, too. And I think they now realize that, hey, we're going to get one game that's going to be our style, and we're going to probably win that by double figures. And then we just have to maintain and not let Indiana dominate the tempo for the rest of this series. And I think Miami's confident that they can maintain home court advantage and probably win this series in 6.